Well, hey there, everyone. Happy Monday afternoon. King 5, meteorologist Adam Claybon here to go over a few things that we're expecting here as we go throughout the week. I got a little something for everyone. We got snow, which is going to be the big thing that we're talking about. We have some areas that are going to be more feast, and I wouldn't say famine, but other areas that are not going to see quite as much snow with our systems here early into the week. We have quite a bit of rain on the way. Thankfully, no big wind ahead, but we do see some areas of sunshine. Don't think we're going to see a lot of them, but for those of you who are wanting to see some of that, I think we'll at least get a few sun breaks as we go on here over the next 5-day stretch. First, let's talk about the clouds that are out there, maybe even a few of those raindrops too. First stop right here in Tacoma, plenty of clouds off into the distance. You can see some of those showers that are now beginning to enter the picture there. In Everett, a lot of cloudy skies, going to be off and on showers as we go throughout the day. And then one last stop, which is actually a bit more wet. Out here along the coast of Westport, you can see a little bit of wave action right now. Again, the wave action shouldn't be too high. We're not expecting any sort of really strong winds with this, but this is our system coming in. That's going to bring in the additional rain. Plus, we're going to have to deal with some pretty heavy snow for the mountains as we go over the next 24 to 48 hours. So as we continue on, let's talk about what we're expecting with this. We do have some areas of rain that are going to come in, and eventually once that rain hits the higher elevations where snow levels are around 3,000 to 2,500 feet, we're going to get a nice dumping of snow at some of the ski resorts there. Snow levels come down to about 1,500 feet Wednesday and Thursday. They climb back up later into the week, but relatively low here throughout the entire week. So anything that does fall, even for Snoqualmie Pass, we're talking about that remaining generally in the form of snow as we have these systems moving through here throughout this relatively active week that is ahead. Now let's take a look at the radar. You can see some areas of rain now already moving through. Now there are some areas that are currently pretty dry because of the rain shadowing from the Olympics, and that will include areas pretty much north of Tacoma as you get up around Federal Way, Seattle, up there around Everett, and even as high as it looks like most of Skagit County staying dry with more of those showers up into Whatcom County. But as we zoom on in, you can see some areas of rain that are starting to move along I-5. If you're driving up or down there from Olympia all the way down to Portland, you're going to have to deal with the showers here as we go throughout Monday afternoon. Zooming in particular here across areas of Mason County, and that's where we're going to keep an eye out for the possibility of some flooding. And we're not expecting anything major with this, but we're talking about if you're living by any sort of body of water, like a river, a stream, or a creek, keep an eye out for some of those water levels to start to rise a little bit here over the next 24 hours as this heavy rain starts to move on through and we get some of that runoff here from the Olympics. That'll be an area we keep an eye on for, but the systems that are coming in, first one, stronger, second one right behind that, keeps things active as we go into the middle part of the week, but we do start to see some sun breaks with that as high pressure probably going to remain south of us here as we go throughout the next 5-day stretch. So back to the winter weather, we have winter storm watches that are out for the Cascades. Those will be for elevations above 3,000 feet, and you can see the wide range of snow that we're expecting. Again, feast for those of us who can possibly get up to 30 inches, and not famine per se, but 6 inches, a half a foot of snow should be good still for some of those ski resorts, but it's really dependent on where those snowbands do set up here as the system does come in. That starts up at 4 a.m. tomorrow, will last until 10 a.m. on into Wednesday morning. And then with some of the heavier rain and more consistent rain here across Mason County, we're keeping an eye out for flood watches. That will start up at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. That will last until 11 a.m. heading into Wednesday in those areas that you want to keep an eye out for. Areas closer to rivers, streams, or creeks. And if you're in more of a flood-prone area, I would also say keep an eye out for things as we go throughout those times. For today, looks like we're going to keep those showers kind of off and on. Generally, I think pretty dry here in Seattle. Better chances coming in later tonight and on into Tuesday. So putting that into motion, you can see this afternoon all the way through about 6 o'clock, showers kind of here and there. There's the main band of rain starting to come on to the coast by about 6 or 7 or 8 o'clock tonight. That will try to stream on through as we go on into early tomorrow morning. Some pockets of shadowing because of that with the rain hitting the Olympics. You can see up there around Discovery Bay, again Whidbey and Camano Islands, not seeing quite as much rain with this, but we'll get the rain to come down quite heavily across the coast, also across areas of South Sound too, and maybe a little more up across areas near Bellingham and Blaine. We'll go on to later Tuesday morning, 11 o'clock, still seeing this rain moving on by, a good dosing of rain with that, and then that will start to move on out of here later into Tuesday evening, Tuesday night as things start to quiet down. And you can see still that band that will continue on into the evening. That will be our convergence zone that could help to pile up some of that snow up there around Stevens Pass. So if you got any plans to go up that way here here later into the week, I think you might be pleasantly surprised by the amount of snow that we get up around Stevens Pass. We'll continue on into Tuesday night and early and Wednesday morning. You can see a lot of the moisture starting to fade, but we still have something around. So we're going to keep things fairly active into the earlier part of Wednesday. Then we go into Wednesday afternoon, not only starting to see the rain move on out if you're in the mountain snow, but also starting to see a few breaks of the clouds. So you're getting some sun breaks there into the afternoon, and then we'll turn cloudy again with our next system coming in later on into the week. Now, as far as the rainfall, it's going to be heavy out along the coast. 1.5 inches, maybe 2.5 inches. Pretty heavy there and heading to the Olympics. Then you go down around Shelton where we have the flood watches that are in effect there for Mason County. We could pick up anywhere between 1 inch to maybe 1 2/3 inches. Around South Sound, higher amounts expected there, closer to 1/2 inch to 1 inch. And then you go farther north here across Puget Sound where we could see about 1/2 inch, maybe inch in some spots depending on where those bands set up, with lesser amounts up there around Camino and Whidbey Island, and then up around Bellingham picking up a little more around 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch. And here we go. The snow amounts, we're expecting those to be around maybe 10 inches for Crystal Mountain and Snoqualmie Pass. Moisture kind of cut off there because of the Olympics with some of that shadowing happening, but as you go south of there, White Pass, a couple of feet there. Stevens Pass getting close to a couple of feet, as well as for Hurricane Ridge and Mount Baker. So there are your higher spots if you are looking for some of the really, really deep snow later on into the week. Today's forecast, highs in the upper 40s to low 50s. Showers off and on farther to the north. Chances of rain not going to be quite as high during the daytime hours here across parts such as Linwood, Redmond, Issaquah up to 49, Bremerton hitting 48 degrees for a high. But the farther south you go, the better chances of rain you will see around Tacoma, down through Lakewood, Lacey, and eventually over towards Olympia, and certainly for Shelton, and we can see the same out there for the coast. And rain chances picking up a lot more heading into this evening and for tonight, but the most high chance that we're going to see here as we go throughout this upcoming week really is going to be, I think, on Tuesday. Then we'll get a little bit of a chance also as we head into Friday again with some more widespread rain starting to make its way in here. So as I promised, we have something for everyone. We have the rain that's going to be coming through if you are a big fan of that. Some of the gloomy weather, plus we have a good amount of snow, which is going to be coming down in the feet, possibly across some of our ski resorts. Stevens Pass, I would say keep an eye out there, as well as for White Pass too. Mount Baker is going to be getting in closer to a couple of feet as well. With those of us wanting to see the sunshine, it's going to be around, but it will be more spotty in nature. Take care. Have a marvelous Monday. We'll talk to you later.
For more local news coverage, live and on demand, watch King 5 Plus. Download free on Roku and Fire TV.